Guys, stay tuned. My audio gets better. I fixed the microphone in 90 seconds.
If you guys couldn't tell by the sound of it, I've been stricken with the COVID. I'm in the middle of it. I tested positive for the first time yesterday. So yeah, look, I had a good run. I went as far as you can go. And then
tell your story, babe.
Like if you were trying to get COVID, you would do exactly what I did last weekend, which was go to a stuffy convention center filled with Star Wars fans and then proceed to talk to as many of them as you can 15 inches away from their face, maskless. And I had actually made it through a couple of these conventions so far this year. I went to the Ren Fair. I went to a convention in Boston and managed to not get COVID. And then this last go around in Anaheim was the nail in the coffin. That's what got me. It took about 5 days for me to test positive. I was testing every day, but only like the rapid test. So yesterday I got a PCR test and it finally came back negative. I could feel it. There was a difference. One day I just woke up and I felt like a heaviness in my chest. I couldn't really breathe as easy, but it wasn't like, it could have been if COVID wasn't a thing, I'd just be like, I didn't even really notice it. But you got everyone in your head, telling you about their experiences. So I was like, this feels a little bit different. You know what it honestly felt like? It felt like how I and how my body felt the day after I got my vaccine, which was like a lot of body chills, real achy, not a real wet cold or flu type thing. It was more just like really lethargic, and it like getting up was a chore. And that was Wednesday. And then the next day I felt better, but I had to go to work. But in order to go to work, I got to get tested, and my test came back positive. And so I've just been home all week with myself. Don't know what to do. You know what I've been doing? I've been shopping for hot tubs. I've been playing video games. It's been kind of nice, been kind of nice around the house by yourself. It's like there's a stillness in the air during the day that I don't normally get to experience. But yeah, and then the one day you flew in, couldn't come over because I was feeling sick, Yeah,
I was gone from LA for a month. I landed back at LAX and I thought, well, what a shithole. Like as soon as I landed, I'm like, just
totally get it.
I'm at like that's like the grossest place in LA, or like one of them, you know what I mean? And like,
right.
Just the drive home, just garbage everywhere and this. And I went from Miami to South Carolina to Texas. And in none of those places did I see anything like I saw in the first 10 minutes of being back here.
Yeah. What'd you see? Was it just the grime? Was it the homelessness? What really bummed you out the most, you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it was disgusting. You land back in this city and you just feel it in every direction. The garbage everywhere, the homeless everywhere, the people's attitudes, people like everywhere I went, whether it was fucking Miami or South Carolina or Texas, it's like, oh, good morning. Like, somebody's like, hey, how you doing? Or whatever. We're here. It's just like this, like, it's the only place where you still have to wear fucking masks when I get into an Uber, which is like, it's been over 2 years now. It's like everyone, I just don't, it's just enough. It's fucking hot. This place is,
I hear you.
I think part of it was like, I was excited to get back because I'm like, well, the only thing I like about LA is you and where I go food shopping. And as soon as I get back, I told, I can't see you for 2 weeks now. So I'm like, okay, well then what the fuck? Like,
yeah, no, I appreciate that. I don't know. If I were you, I'd probably just skedaddle. I mean, there's once you get a kind of a taste of what it's like other places. I mean, besides the weather, you know, if I didn't own a couple homes here already, I feel like I'd be out of here.
Yeah, I listen. I know we're probably bumming people out so far this pod. So
well, look, this is our life. Yeah, but you know what?
But it's not my life. My life was just going on like a month-long beautiful vacation and seeing my friends and having a great time. You know, we're just choosing to talk about like.
Honestly, I'm having a great time with COVID. I mean, it's been.
Oh, this is your dream. This is what you live for.
It's exact. I was kind of tired anyways, and I kind of needed a few days off. So this was perfect. You know, I got burnt out at the weekend talking to Star Wars fans, running around Anaheim, and then it was nice to have a few days off. Now I get a few more days off. Boom. I'm shopping for hot tubs. I'm trying to sell my Airstream. I'm making all kinds of moves in that backyard because I need my home to be a place where I never have to leave. I get that hot tub is the last key to getting this place to just like that extra little level, you know.
Very the problem is your home is in LA, and LA is.
Well, look, I'm fond of LA. I like, you know, I grew up here for the most part. So I while I totally understand, you know, everything you're saying and totally agree with you, there's my entire family's here. I have a completely different situation. I have a great job that I really enjoy. If I were you, I would definitely be surveying options, but I can deal with a lot of that stuff. I can step over the homeless to get to Air One. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got a broader step.
I got a big wide step.
Guy.
I can cover two homeless guys and a dog, you know, just in one leap. Ooh. Right over. Yeah.
There's I have to sign a new lease in September, and I can tell you right now, I'm not. Unless something crazy were to change this, like I'm 99% out of here. This place is fucking for the birds who aren't even real.
It's for the birds who are charging on the power line as we speak.
But listen, Texas is fucking. I had a blast.
Yeah,
Texas
I mean the last video you sent me was just you absolutely crushing a wave. Was that wake surfing or wakeboarding? What were you doing?
Wake surfing. Wakeboarding is when you're clipped in, I believe. I'm not a pro, although the video would make you think something else. I'm new to the sport.
We're gonna have to throw that video up and have Gabby edit it in because it looks good on you. That like I tell you.
Yeah, maybe we could finally put one in where I don't look like an idiot at the end, slow motion falling into it. That'd be nice, guys.
Yeah, no, you earned it. You really did.
You'll be sorry when I'm gone. It's okay.
Yeah, so that's it. Texas was good. You liked it, huh? What was your favorite part of it? Do you feel like there's one part that you really wish we had here besides the, you know, low crime, the no homeless? I feel like there's some homeless in Austin, though. I did see a couple guys. I don't know if
the general feeling of being safe,
safety, prices, or
quality of life,
poker. It seemed like it seems like everything was great there. What's one thing you miss?
I missed you, and I missed. Miss about Texas or here?
Yeah.
What do I miss about Texas? Yeah, there's just a better vibe there. There's not that like, you know how many times someone rushed by me and was like, "Oh, excuse me," like none, you know, like there was never that vibe. Like everybody is just, we have to talk about what, if,
yeah, of course.
Here's what I want to know. There's a couple things. So me and Kasim have been watching, Love on the Spectrum US.
And normally when they do this, the US version of a popular show, it's trash, you know, like Love Island, for example. The UK and the Australian Love Island's fantastic. The second they brought that over here, garbage.
Yeah, but because what happens is the people in Australia or wherever they do the original kind of seem like they're good, genuine people. And then the US people just seem like they're camera and attention whores, and they just want followers, and they just want this. And the autistic haven't done that, which is nice.
No, although some of them are on TikTok, and they're crushing it on TikTok.
Oh, I could only imagine.
Yeah.
It would be, So Love on the Spectrum, if anybody doesn't know, it's about people who are on the spectrum, the autism spectrum, trying to find love, trying to date this. And here's what I wanted to ask you, Cass, which is like, because there's times where it's like, how could somebody not love this show? Like, if you had to say what kind, like, because I'm like, oh, maybe people normally it's like, well, if somebody doesn't like sci-fi, they might not like this, or if somebody doesn't like this. Where with this show, it's like, oh, if you don't like laughing, cheering for people, crying. Yeah, like it's just the best.
I think the reason more people don't know about it is because I was this way before I started watching it. I thought this show was like taking advantage of people on the spectrum in a way that was kind of gross. And then I actually watched it and I was like, oh, no, that's kind of not what's going on. It's actually the opposite. They're showing kind of the days, the ins and outs of people that have, autism or Asperger's. And all I'm doing is just completely identifying with like a lot of what they're doing. And I have way more empathy for somebody on the spectrum now, having seen the show in 2 seasons of the Australian one versus before when I watched it. And you root for the people, you like want them to find love. And it is quote unquote a dating show, but to call it a dating show feels like it's selling it short a little bit. I think it's a lot more than that, and I don't know. There's a lot of good characters in this new season. And what's the name of the guy that we like? The guy who went to the Ren Fair this. Mom, no.
Actually, this is something I haven't thought of. It's a good idea. He's so good. He's incredible. Like, there's, just to give a little spoiler alert, but it's not a spoiler alert, just 1 second of the show that I thought was the best moment of the whole show. They're at a Renaissance fair, and like, I guess it starts with like the people are jousting, and like they joust a couple times, and then it's like they keep tying and tying and tying. So at the end, like the guy just jumps off his horse and he pulls like a knife out of his back pocket, like whatever, out of his shield, and like stabs the other guy or whatever. And you just hear the other guys watching and you hear him go, "Oh shit." Like, he's so, and then like 4 or 5 seconds go by and like they keep stabbing each other and nobody's good. And he goes, "Oh, I think this is just part of the show." Like, and I laughed so hard and and by the way, like you don't feel like how I feel is when you're laughing, you might be laughing at stuff these guys say, but you're like, you root for these people so much and you care about them. And this, you're not laughing at them from like you, this, that, and like making fun of them kind of way. It's like how you feel when like you make fun of a friend for doing something silly or whatever. It's
like they're legitimately funny, and the things that they say are legitimately funny. And it's never in like a way where you like some of them know that they're being funny, and sometimes they don't know they're funny, but they're just saying things that are so funny because they say things that we think, but sometimes we don't say. And when people do that, it's inherently funny, and it's like you're laughing with the people, not at the people. And that's kind of the genius with the show. And it's managed to kind of take a topic that could easily and a group of people that could easily be manipulated and like made fun of by a production crew that was lesser than, and they've made you sort of understand the hardships of what it's like to have Asperger's or autism, and then the challenges that they come up against, and then also just like just them going on dates. You'll see them struggle with things that you struggle on. Everyone struggles with when you go on dates. Like, all right, like, okay, it's like, here's the goodbye. Like, what do I do? Do I go in for a hug, or do I go in for a handshake, or like, what's the bill situation? There's a lot of that stuff is just thought out loud, and it's so fun to see. It's just so fun to see other people dealing with similar things, and they're just a lot more outward about it, and highly recommended if you guys have never seen it. We've talked about the Australian one plenty of times on this show. And there's a third season, which is in the US. I would have to imagine that they're going to make another season and follow a lot of these people. But yeah, I've been following some of them on TikTok, like that girl, Danny, the one that does the animation, who's very concerned about finding a partner who also does animation. And she's
has
on
goals.
But I got to tell you, episode 1 ends with one of the, like, I stood up when I was watching. She's on a date, and and episode 2 picks up right where it left off. But like, one of the craziest moments I've ever seen on TV. And I don't want to spoil it because I want you guys to kind of enjoy it. But like, at the end of episode 1 and the beginning of episode 2, you will see one of the craziest first blind dates anyone has ever been on. And it makes me smile so much just thinking about it. And
you're thrown for about 7 loops in 45 seconds where you go, oh, that's not what and it's just like, they just keep doubling. It is to me, like, if I'm throwing the like Rotten Tomatoes score on it, it's a 10. Like, it really
sure.
is, or 100, I guess, is Rotten Tomatoes. Like 10 is bad, right? But like, yeah, 100. Like, it's like, I can't, when I watch it, I go, I don't know how this could be better. Like, like, there are times where you go like, oh, I wish they were following that character instead of that character. Like, I wish they were following the Solomon guy and the fact that they're not really bummed me out and stuff like that. But as far as just like, man, it is electric.
It's great. It's really fun. It's warm. It'll make you laugh. I cried on season 2 of the Australian one. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. I can't imagine anyone watching an episode of that and being like, no, this is terrible. It's really well done, and check it out. It's on Netflix.
So here's what I wanted to ask you.
Oh, by the way,
right?
Jamie's not here, in case you guys haven't noticed. She's at a wedding. So it's just the boys today.
Yeah, she's at a wedding in like the forest with no reception. She has to camp. So we're going to have a good pod next week when she talks about that. And if I want to tease something, since this is this could be considered a weak pod, so you want to give at least a teaser. It's me and Cass. I'm a little under the weather. Cassim has COVID.
Yeah.
Something that Jamie can talk about next week, not only her wedding in the woods, but also I introduced Jamie to someone I'm dating for the first time in maybe over 10 years for sure.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about that next week, right?
We'll talk about it next week. And also, like,
you got to give us something this week. You got to give us a little taste. All right, guys, before we get back to the pod, it's time for a quick word from our sponsors. Robbie?
When was the last time you gave your partner something truly memorable? Make them come to hellotushy.com for the National 6-9-day sale. Guys, you have to be insane if you're not using Tushy. Go to hellotushy.com, their National 6-9-day sale. Get a Hello Tushy, because what they do is they use a wonderful spritz, as Cassim likes to call it,
right,
to make the duty go away. And it makes for a better day. You're walking around with a clean butt. I don't know what more I need to say.
The bidet is a game changer, guys. It saves you money on toilet paper. It also is very easy to install. I think a lot of people have an idea that they're complicated and require an electrical outlet. No, not the case here with a Hello Tushy bidet. It just plugs in with your existing water line. They give you all the tools and hardware that you need. I installed mine in under 10 minutes. The only regret I have is not having a second one for my second bathroom. And other than that, nothing beats a 4 p.m. spritz coming home from work or in the middle of the day, giving yourself a little checkup, a little cleanup. And it's a real great way to stay cool in the summer.
That's right. And if not for you, then give the gift of a clean butt to someone else. On June 9th, go to hellotushy.com/pajama and enter promo code SIXNINE69 to get 30% off. Guys, that's 30% off your Tushy at hellotushy.com/pajama, TUSHY.com/pajama.
Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp.
You don't have to wait for things to be horrible to get help. You know, you could, let's say your life usually goes between a 1 and 100. And let's say you're like, hey, my life's at 80. Why do I need help? Because you want to stay there and you want to maybe hit that 85, hit that 90, right, Cass?
It's never been easier to sign up for talk therapy. You can do everything online. You get matched with a therapist within 48 hours. You have access to your therapist anytime that you want. You can chat with them. You can set up weekly appointments. It is much cheaper than traditional therapy. So it makes it available for people that currently or were in the past priced out of therapy. If you aren't talking to anyone, trust me, it is much better when you do. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/pajama. That's betterhelp.com/pajama.
I'm not one of these people who's like, I don't talk about dating on the podcast anymore because I want to keep my private life private, this whole thing. It's more so that if I'm dating someone and they listen to this, I'm not there to walk them through like, oh, that was a joke. We weren't serious there. Don't get offended by that. So like but like, I don't care about the privacy factor like at all. So it's like, I haven't been talking about dating and going on dates and things like that. But but here's what I want to say about, I still on the Love on the Spectrum thing. When I was watching Love on the Spectrum with the girl who I'm dating now, and one of the young ladies on the show says, I love to go to Vegas and play poker. Right?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
So
wait, which one was that?
I think it was Sabut. How was his name? Sabod's girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
Or the girl he's dating.
Right.
So now I don't know if she's autistic. She has something. I'm not a doctor.
She has Down syndrome.
I was going to say, luckily we have a doctor here. Yeah. Dr. Cass will let you know. So she has Down syndrome. So this girl who I'm watching the show with, who I'm dating, says to me, what would you do if you're at a poker table in Vegas and she sits down and she starts firing bets at you? Like, what do you do? You know, do you play back at her? Are you okay with taking her money? And what I might have really said, I'll tell you off pod, but it was something along the lines of, I'd watch how she played and I would assess her skill level. And if I felt like I was taking advantage of her, I would probably leave because I wouldn't want to get involved in hands with her and take her money because I'd feel weird. But if I felt like she was good, sure, I'll take all the money. But on the other hand, I feel like the way the world is today, it's more of a insult to not play.
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah, you just treat them like anyone else. What would happen if somebody who didn't have a disability sat down and started playing? You'd do the same thing, right? You'd assess their skill level.
No, because if they're horrible, I don't care. I'd keep taking their money.
Oh, you're saying because this person has a disability, you'd feel bad, maybe like they shouldn't be here and you shouldn't be taking their money, sort of thing. Yeah,
like I don't know her level of her disability, whatever, but I'm sure
if she was good.
Yeah, because there are some of the best poker players in the world are autistic, and they talk about it and everything, and they have that like almost Rayman thing where they can do crazy calculations in their head.
Right. It is a Rain Man. That's exactly what Rain Man's about. They do have that skill. I feel like if somebody sat down at a poker table I was at and they mentioned they were autistic, I'd take my chips and leave. I don't know if I would. Right. I don't know if I could. I would be any good because they'd probably be like, oh, there are 113 cards in this deck, you know, and like her in this shoe. That's why it was important to point out she had downs. Yeah. I think it's good to know. I would like to assess and then maybe make some small talk. And then if she was on a losing streak, I'd probably pick up and go,
Yeah. Like what if she just doesn't look at her cards and starts taking chips and throwing them in the pot?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like the dealer would have a responsibility at that point to do something about it.
But I see people who are drunk or who are just like crazy players who do stuff like that. They don't stop them.
Yeah, I think those are people who choose to be drunk.
How do you know that's just not part of her act?
She could just be grifting all of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I didn't look, and she's really,
Yeah, no, it's a great point.
What would you have guessed my stance would have been on if I would play back at that specific person?
I think I would have guessed that you would play back if she had some skill. I feel like if for some reason you just started, emptying her pockets, you would have some restraint there,
Yeah, I think once I start taking, you've already taken. So you just kind of, you put the screws to her. But it's that initial, like if I would have to see, like her specifically, I couldn't see myself being okay with like tricking her in hands.
Yeah. Here's a nuance of people having disabilities is like when I see somebody with autism or Asperger's, in my head, I go, oh, this person could be dangerous with numbers. But from what I know with people who have Down syndrome is I don't have that connection. I don't know if it's true or not, but I in my head, under the file of Down syndrome, I don't see anything related to like mathematics, or like remembering dates and like calendars. One of these guys in the show, they could just say a date and the guy would instantly tell you what day of the week it was, and that's something I attribute to a feature of Down syndrome, or I'm sorry, of autism and Asperger's as opposed to Down syndrome. So,
yeah, if you're playing poker and somebody could tell you the weather on a day like 3 years ago, you want to get out of there.
You do, totally.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to have your money on the table with that person.
Yeah. That person, especially if they show up with like a toy train or something, you want to pack up and go.
Yeah, because it's probably a magnet and they're using it to cheat, is what you're saying. I get it.
No, they love the trains, and you you guys would know if you watched season 1 of Love on the Spectrum.
All right, so I asked on Reddit for questions that me and you were going to be doing a pod. Do people have any questions? This question sounds like it could be from someone who was on the show that we were just talking about. It says, what the best part of spring is? Beginning, where it's transitioning out of winter and everything is melting. Middle, where the snow is gone and things are just starting to bud and grow. Or the end, as it's turning into summer and it's starting to get hot out. That's from Fuck Off Ireland.
That's fantastic. I've never heard of spring being divided into threes like that. I think that's a good point though, because there are 3 parts to it. Personally, I don't experience the first one living in Southern California. There's no real snow around me. I mean, you can drive an hour and go see it, I guess. I'm a summer boy. I like the summer. So I like when the days are at their maximum length, which is going to be June 21st coming up. You get the longest days and it starts to heat up. That's what I like. That's my favorite part of spring.
Yeah, I'm going for the end too. Anything with snow, I'm out. I want nothing to do with it.
Part 3
evening
of spring.
head. It's funny. We get messages like this all the time and people questions and this like this one is evening head 4310, your buddy. He's any interest in having Steve-O on the pod? And people always say stuff like that to us. Like, why don't you have this person on the pod? Why don't you have this person? It's not like there's just like a line of people you go and you pick out of it. It's like anybody who we've had on the pod, we've known, except for the rare occasion where like we DM somebody because we love something they did so much and they happen to answer back. But like, would we have Steve-O on? Sure. Do we know Steve-O? No.
Yeah, Steve-O would be great. Steve-O, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you're not, we would love to have you. We talk sobriety, talk about our love and affinity for Jackass. I've heard Steve-O speak on plenty of pods, and he's super insightful and has a ton of experience to draw from. Love Steve-O.
Great guy. And then Evening Head came back with a better question, I think. And he said, I have a better one. So he thinks so too. For Kasim, how many kids do you actually want? And have you thought about names?
Not names really. But I would like to have 2, I think. I would be open to more, but I would, it would depend on the person who would be essentially the one carrying the kids. You know what I mean? So yeah, 2 would be good. Names. Here's the thing with names is I grew up with such a funky name. This is where I'm at, is that part of me is like, give the kid an easy Anglo name, something that doesn't get, turn into the same thing that you grew up with, which is just a lot of anxiety on the first day of school and they're reading the roll sheet or like introducing yourself, having all that sort of like, what was that? But then the other side of me is like, well, give them a cultural name that so they kind of identify with where they're from and their roots. As I get older, the more I lean that way, have them build character, give them a cool ethnic name, one that isn't maybe as wacky as Kasim, but like my brother has the perfect name. Omar is the perfect name. It's like, it's a name everyone knows. It's just ethnic enough. It's not overboard. It can it crosses many cultures, the
Wire,
black guys named Omar, Middle Eastern guys named Omar. I guess
that's about it.
2. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so I feel like that would be fun, to give them something that's like an Omar-ish type name, that isn't going to cause all kinds of crazy anxiety, but something that still denotes like you've got some culture in your DNA.
How do you feel about celebrities that they give their kids names like, or anybody who does it, but like you hear about celebrities doing like Apple and like all this kind of wacky, crazy stuff?
I think it's stupid. But also it's your call. You know what I mean? That I think certain people are so up their own ass that they go, well, we're special people, so we should give our kids a special name. Elon Musk and Grimes, most notably.
Yeah,
that's just, it's like they just smash their hands down on the keyboard and they just like, let's go with that. It's
not cool.
I think there's also a part of that. You're setting your kids up for some weird shit. You name your kid Apple or just something so not normal. Take it from me, somebody who had a not normal name growing up in the United States. It's not nothing. It like creates anxieties. It creates like you will get made fun of. People will pick on you. Are those things?
All right. I'm sorry for doing stuff like that as a kid. I mean, how much?
It's okay.
I get it. I shouldn't have done it.
There are parts of it that are cool for you, like at your dinner parties or whatever, to tell your other like socially elite, like rich friends, oh yeah, I named my kid Turnbuckle, or it's just something crazy. It sounds cool, but like you're not the one living with that name. And to me, it's like it's kind of like a narcissistic trait or feature in a person where they feel like they've got to just give your kids something normal. Put a little spin on it if you want, but if you're calling them X2, XYZ, I mean, there's so much that says about you as a person to me that it's like, I don't like it. Not a fan.
Would you, would that be first name Turn, middle name Buckle, or first name Turnbuckle?
Yeah, it'd be Turn, middle name Buckle.
Garaiba.
Yeah.
Turnbuckle Garaiba.
You going over to Turn's house?
Oh, he's not getting made fun of. You should do it. So the answer to your question is Turnbuckle Garaiba for a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah, like backstage for the girl.
Oh, Backstage Gariba. Yeah.
Backstage
No,
would be a good name.
Middle name Pass.
Yeah, it's everything I've ever seen in a WWE show. Yeah, Monday
Backstage
Night Raw.
Pass Gariba.
Yeah.
I like it.
All access
That's good.
Gariba.
That's real good. Press pass.
Yeah, it's like they would have to play professional football with a name like that. Guys, sunglasses season is here, and there's no better option than our friends at Shady Rays. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've ever worn. Durable frames and extremely clear polarized lenses, by the way, which are good if you're on the lake like we were last week. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by a lost and broken replacement, which is if you lose or break your pair, even on the first day you get them, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. I don't know of another company that offers a service like this. That alone is worth it to try Shady Rays, in my opinion. I've lost plenty of sunglasses. As a guy who wears prescription lenses, it's just easier to get glasses that you can replace easily. Usually I have to go get real cheap glasses, but with a company like Shady Rays, I don't have to worry about that anymore. If you don't love them, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop at Shady Rays. Their team always has your back.
Guys, like he said, there's no risk. Try it out. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to SHADYRAYS.com and use code PAJAMA for 50% off when you buy 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses.
Yep, it's summertime, guys. And the sunglasses look really good, by the way. Go to their website, check it out. Hey guys, a word from Shopify. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Jamie used Shopify for her other podcast that she did. What Mama Said, was it called?
Yeah, Mama Said.
Mama Said she used Shopify to run the e-commerce side of her website. So reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. It's more than a store. Shopify grows with you. This is a possibility powered by Shopify. Guys, if you have an e-commerce site or a website and you're looking to provide e-commerce, try Shopify. It's the best way for you to get insights on who your customers are and provide your customers with real easy transactions and follow through.
Go to shopify.com/pajama, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with shopify.com. Go to shopify.com/pajama right now. shopify.com/pajama right now.
That's right, guys. And that's it. Support the people who support the show. Now back to the pod.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like it's not like you worry about Elon Musk's kid like going into a school where like, oh no, is everyone gonna like me? Like, I don't feel like he's gonna have that. You know what I mean? Like every kid's gonna wanna hang with
I don't know about that, man. I don't know. You would think right now it's like, oh, that kid's just gonna have all kinds of money. His kid, but like kids don't give a shit. Like when his kid's old enough, his kids aren't gonna give a shit that their dad's Elon Musk. You're gonna have friends that are like, right now Madonna has a kid who wishes her mom wasn't Madonna. Do you know what I mean? There's all kinds of kids they almost want to be like divorced from their parents when they're that famous. I feel like they just want to like get adopted by a regular family, you know, and run away from all that.
I agree with you, but I also think it comes with a thing of like when your parents are that famous, when your life is that crazy, when but this is just me. I would imagine you wouldn't go into the first day of school like, oh no, like what if no one likes me? Because you know what I mean? Every room you come into, people are like, oh, look, it's little XY, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't, but that's just
yeah, it's possible. You know, I just have I have feelings around name stuff, as you can see. I got questions from Instagram. Do you want to go through some of these?
Yeah, I got one more from
let's get one more from Reddit.
Yeah, aggravating fix 8410. Did you keep any toys or memorabilia items from? I mean, look behind Cass. His whole fucking. What do you mean? His whole life is.
But are they asking you from The Sopranos?
No. Did you guys keep any toys or memorabilia items from your childhood? If so, what are they?
Oh,
this person says they kept their pogs and their slammers, which I unfortunately had to get rid of when I was like.
Oh, did you have moved out?
Oh, come on, Pa.
Dude, come on, Pa. How many sleeves did you have? Did you keep them in the sleeves?
Yeah, I had a bunch of sleeves for the pogs, and then I had little sleeves for the slammers. And then I had like one slammer that was gold, and it was like just ridiculous. It was a piece.
Yeah. You know what? There was one slammer I remember a friend of mine having. It was OJ. It was carved OJ Simpson like behind bars doing like this, and it was OJ in the slammer, and it was all
wow.
It was a hefty piece. It was like all like silver or whatever, stainless or what, and it was such a piece of 90s like can it get any more 90s than a Pog slammer with OJ on it? Like, talk about a time capsule. I would have loved to see your Pog collection. I had very few Pogs. I collected Marvel comic cards and baseball cards. And the one thing I went back and did when I got money was I went and bought all 10 original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 1989 line of toys that they made. And I feel like you probably had some of these, right? Didn't you have some of these? Yeah. I got.
You moved the like.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I went back and they're all in a box. Yeah. They're all in a box. And I have all ton of them. They're in my closet. But that was one thing. Every one I bought, I would just like, I felt the nostalgia. It's like a drug. It was like hitting me. I was like, oh, this makes me feel like I remember where I was when I got this Michelangelo as a kid, but I didn't save any of them. And, now I'm almost 40. I'm sure those things are like long gone, but, and my parents moved so much that stuff would just get lost. So I went and specifically rebought all those Ninja Turtles as a kid.
Damn. So is there any toys or memorabilia that you still have from when you were?
I have some comic cards. They're right above me here. I would pull them down, but I have a feeling most people won't give a shit. But I have like the funny story was in elementary school, which was, I think I was in 5th grade. We had a student store and I would steal packs of comic cards from the student store. And I would keep them in my backpack until I would run home and would open them and I would like put them in sleeves and file them and stuff like that. And like, I remember the feeling that I got from doing that. Felt really wrong. I never got, I never like got busted for it because those packs were really expensive and I couldn't afford, like I would buy them and then I wanted more because you're trying to collect them all, and they like, when you stacked them all together on the page, they would make like a big piece of art. And fuck it, it's right here. I'll show you.
Oh wow, we're getting a look-see into Cass. Yeah, I'll answer quick while he's looking for that. I don't have anything. Like when I moved, when I was like 32, maybe, I watched a documentary about minimalism. I think it was on Netflix. And it just made me get rid of like everything I had. And it made me put everything into 2 bags and travel with it. And it was the best feeling in the world. Like when I packed everything in 2 bags and I was on a plane and I was like, I have everything. Like I still had a small storage unit in New York because I had certain things like, like a tuxedo if I need to go to a wedding and like things like that just like take up space that like I didn't want to throw away. I didn't want to carry around with me everywhere I went, and like a couple of suits and like things like this. But I had my whole life in these 2 bags and a book bag. And I was walking on the plane and I remember the feeling of being like, wow, this is the best feeling of not having like up until then, I would have like a closet in New York City where you opened it up and it was like my tests from the third grade and like every little thing, like there would be disgusting things that you would find in there, like old cassette tapes and this. And I finally was like, I haven't looked at this stuff in 15 years. I wouldn't know if it was all gone. Like if I opened up this closet one day and went through it, I wouldn't know what was missing and what wasn't. So why don't I just get rid of all of it and free up my life to just not be tied down to this shit? And I did it and it felt great.
Yeah, I like that. I think there's a lot to be said about freeing your life of clutter. I think I've done a few moves over the last 20 years. And so each time you move, you kind of do a version of that where you're getting rid of stuff that doesn't serve you. I still have like some stuff I think I could definitely lose, but now I got an attic and most of it just sits up there. So this is my Marvel Universe binder, which I got
Wow.
I got this binder like a few years ago because the one that it was originally in was trashed. And so like when you open it up,
now we're podding.
All these cards, you put them together and then they form, a bigger picture.
Wow.
And
we're podding.
I'm sure there's a lot of women that are like falling for me right now. And
guys.
Get in line, ladies.
But Zims and Zers.
So the point was, I should have known as a kid that I was going to have issues around like addiction because there was like no way to satiate me. When I would like buy a pack, I'd be like, I need way more and I'll do anything to get it, and I would steal them. And I was like so brazen about it. Just wait till their back was turned and I'd just steal as many as my like tiny little hands could get on. And I felt like a rush. I got such a rush, every indication that I was going to be, have addiction issues as an adult was all right there. But I do cherish them and I do keep them. And I guess I should like write like an apology note to my elementary school and send them like $50 or something. That's probably what the amends would be there. But
you're right, from Klepto G.
That's right.
You know what I wanted to ask you, like, as you're talking about, like, I would have known I'd be an addict or this, like, what's the feeling you get when you look at like your UFO stuff? Like you got the Bob Lazar thing behind you. You got the giant woman. What's her name? Not giant woman.
The drawing, the paint.
Yeah.
I love all that stuff. I like how all my shit is like funky in this room. It has some personality. I don't get the same feeling from it that I do with like when I just got like a big hit when I just pulled this down. You know what I mean? Like if I were to go get you,
you got, for people who are just listening, when he pulled down the binder full of cards from his shelf, he's saying he got a real nice hit of juice, even though he's got COVID. He's still riding the high. So what's that feeling when you're pulling that down?
I don't know. It's like like a warm. It's a familiarity that you have. I immediately go back to the times as a kid when I was like putting them in the sleeves, and when I was stealing the things. If I were to go get those Ninja Turtles right now, and I started showing you the little packages of them and everything, I would get that same feeling because there's a very specific memory I had as a kid playing with those things, and it's like seared into my psyche, and it's something I'll probably always remember. The UFO stuff, most of the stuff I've got relatively, recently within the last 10, 15 years. But this painting here of UFOs. Oh shit. Okay. This is like something an ex-girlfriend painted me. So that's got like, I have, thoughts around that. But like most of the stuff is just like the Bob Lazar thing I bought. I'm like, that's fine. It was just kind of fun and kitschy.
But do you ever look at those and go like, oh man, like, does it make you get a little taste of like, man, I want to get abducted one day? Like,
no, not really.
They're coming for me next.
Yeah. No. I don't think I get any of that when I look at that stuff. I do like the Bob Lazar drawing because it is personalized. It says to Cass on it, but I don't have, it's nowhere near looking at those comic cards or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll tell you that.
So here's what I almost forgot to tell you. I would have normally told you this off the pod, but we're on pod and I just thought of it. The woman who I'm dating at the moment had a UFO experience.
Oh shit. Oh, yeah, I've got to talk to her.
Yeah, I know. And
can you say anything about it?
She's got a plate in her head and she makes a weird noise whenever we're,
Mm-hmm.
No, she said that her and her sister have the same memory of aliens coming to abduct them when they were young, and that the aliens actually passed on them and somehow said, like, we don't want you. We're not going to abduct you. And she said she thinks that from that moment on, her life was like totally different. Like she felt like she was not a chosen person.
Humbling experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Because that there is bring it back to narcissism a little bit again, is that like there is this thing where you go, and I think about it too. I'm like, if I were just to get abducted, man, how special would I be? Something in me that they want, or I'm just one of a handful of people that have had this experience. To be passed over and rejected by a UFO, that's got to be a very humbling experience.
I think I'm such a narcissist. I've never even had that thought that like, oh, aliens abducting me would make me special.
Oh man, no,
I never even connected that with that. Like, I just think of the whole, like, you're seeing something that no one's ever seen. Like, holy shit, like I'm here, I'm up here.
Right. Yeah. No, that
we're down.
No, we're down. That's so fun. I would love to talk to her about it because there's probably so many people that have that same story. You hear a lot about the abductions, but you don't hear a lot about I was almost abducted.
Yeah.
I got it. There's a whole, maybe this is for another pod or just a separate pod. My new pod, yeah, my new pod coming out very soon, where I had the lady who was working on my house that I own now. When I first bought it, I had a bunch of renovations that I did, and she was helping me with all that. But so I saw her a lot. I saw her every day, and every morning we would just sit and chat while a lot of the workers were out doing the real work. And like a month or two into seeing her every day, she starts like revealing that her and her son are like.
We talked about this. This is the Joe Perino.
Oh, okay, yeah, but
how you ruined Thanksgiving.
Yes. Okay,
yeah.
But I don't know if we've talked about like the relationship I had with this lady, but yeah, she started slowly revealing that she was being abducted and things like that. And I was still drinking and smoking a ton of weed. So who knows what kind of mind frame that I was in. But yeah, did you ever just have, like, obviously I know you love that stuff, so you would like it more than other people, but is there ever a time where you just had a question about the house and she's like 30 minutes into a story and you're like, aren't those supposed to be 2x4s? Yeah. Like, what's the ETA on that breakfast nook bench? But it's been like 60 days, and you said it's coming from Mexico.
She's talking about what's going on light years away from here,
No, it's so funny. I was always so into it. I was so into her stories.
Right. That's the problem.
Yeah. I was like the perfect captive audience.
Yeah, she's waiting for somebody like you forever. Somebody who's got a fucking huge house in LA and all they want to do is hear fucking UFO stories. That's her. I mean, what's better for her than that?
Nothing. No. And I would just, what's better is like I would cut her just a huge check every week. That was like ideal.
You're her white whale.
That's right. Her brown whale. There's some questions from Instagram. I want to make sure we get a couple of these in. Follow us on Instagram, by the way, Pajama Pants Podcast, where we will occasionally get questions from you guys and read them on the pod.
Let me ask this one more to you because I commented on it. It's super fast. The person said, Rush Kush. I'm trying to think in Sharpie mode. If you could do one type of physical activity for health, example, yoga, sports, walking, this for the rest of your life, if you could only do one, which one would you pick? And I think it's a great question. I've answered it already that mine is yoga.
Even though it's the exercise I hate to do the most, I feel like it's the best for me and I get the most out of it, which was rowing.
Oh, wow.
I feel like it's cardio. It's like a full body workout, arms, legs, back. I mean, it's like the whole thing. And when I was boxing, I had to do like 2,000 meters before I even started boxing every day. And it was just like, I remember being so bad at it and it was so hard. And then it got better. And like, I just felt stronger. And my 2,000 meter time was getting quicker. And I just like, it's a thing that has like you can set a goal, you can have like a time, and then you can try and beat your time. So it's got all the makings of a really great workout. And I feel like if I only could do one workout, that would be it, because it would cover the most bases.
My answer would be wake surfing from the video you saw earlier. You could tell I'm a natural. But the what was the thing that we're just? Oh, when he said walking, that doesn't really work, right? Because does that mean I can't walk anymore? Like, you know what I mean? He's like, if you could do one physical activity, yoga, running, walking, like I still got to be able to walk. Yeah, otherwise, of course, it's walking.
Yeah, we're counting, we're counting extra activities other than your basic daily needs.
Ooh, basic. All right.
I'm sorry, I got COVID.
That's the first word that you might have fucked up in the 150 episodes. Basic daily.
Yeah, first word. I do feel like I'm very cloudy. I don't know if you were when you had COVID. I feel very foggy, and I have to like really pick and choose more so than usual. Like pick and choose the words that I'm about to say. They're not coming out so naturally today, so I apologize to everyone listening.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever talked about this before, but there's this poker player who talks about something called decision fatigue. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I've never heard of it, but I can guess. I can guess what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically like, and I wonder if this goes to like addiction too, where it's like when you wake up in the morning and you're trying to make these like good decisions for you, and I want to do this and I'm not going to eat that. And it's usually why like, for breakfast, people aren't usually like eating half of a cake. And it's always that thing like, oh man, right before bed, I'm like, what do I want to eat? I'm going to go to the fridge. I'm just going to fuck it up. So it's basically like what he says is, and it's the same thing in poker, where it's like early on in the day or the session or whatever it is, it's a lot easier to make these good decisions, and you're making them. And yes, that's the right thing to do. So that's what I'll choose. And that's the right set. And the longer your day is and the harder your day is, and that by the end of the day, when you finally get through a day, especially if it's a shitty day, like you just have this decision fatigue where you're like, I can't handle making the right choice over and over. Like, give me the fucking cake, give me the because I'm just done with it,
Right. Yeah. Give it. Now it's about ease. And whatever is easiest, bring it to me. And whatever soothes me, like the sweetness of a cake.
Right. And I would imagine like the percentage of addicts who fall off the wagon first thing when they wake up is much lower than people who fall off the wagon maybe, 50 to 100, like 90% of the way through their day, you know?
Yeah. I agree. All right. Should I get this Instagram question?
Yeah,
all right, and then we'll wrap up. That's kind of a similar question. All right, this one's from Cass Diorio. Says, would you guys ever consider moving to Austin after visiting?
Yes.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the pod that was made very clear. I would, if I didn't have so many attachments here, I would definitely consider it. I also haven't experienced extreme weather down there that might affect my decision, but yeah, it seems like Rob, you would lean that way for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to me, I've said this a million times. It's New York or everything else. Everything else is the same. So I could find reasons why I hate LA. I could find reasons why I like it. I could find reasons why I hate Austin. I could find reasons why I like it. I had a lot of fun. I think Austin's great. To me, I would move to New York tomorrow and stay there forever if there was no winters there. The fucking winters are terrible. Yeah. And it's also like, I'm 37 now. Maybe when I'm 47, I would hate New York. I have no idea, but it's hard for me to imagine that because it's like every fucking block in New York to me is a memory. It's like, oh my God, that's where this happened. And that's where that, or like, that's where this person lives, or that was where this store was, or that was where you just always have something. And it's all like, it makes me so happy to be there. And I have my family's there. I have my best friends in the world there. Like, it's like my best friends live on all different parts of the city, and I could see them all in one day and it's no problem. Like, it's not even a thing. We're in LA. It's like, you make plans to see somebody and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. It's just would I move to Austin? Yeah, definitely. I'm debating right now if I should try it out for a year and see what it's like. Try it out.
Yeah, I think so. I think, as much as I love having you close, I think it's really easy to go visit Austin. I think we had a lot of fun out there. I think we probably have more fun out there than we do here, especially on the lake. And there's a lot of questions, even from our own Gabs a Million, which we've already answered. She asked, what's your favorite and least favorite thing about Austin? Did you say what your least favorite thing about Austin was?
I mean, the bugs aren't great, but I got used to them after. Like Jamie says, those millipedes. And because, like, again, when I was fucking 16, when I saw a bug, it was dead. Bang, move on, like whatever. Dead. Now I'm just at the point where I'm like, do I really have to kill this thing? Like, I feel bad. Am I going to kill 100 bugs while I'm here? So like,
it's good karma.
I would develop a routine of like a process of, okay, how do I get this millipede from here to safety? And like, I want him outside, but I don't want that. And then the fucking fucked up thing is like, you're opening up the door to let the millipede out and you see a mosquito flying in. Kasim got to see my Airbnb before I came here. Cass, how many mosquitoes were in that Airbnb?
Well, I was there when you first, like you walked in for the first time, and I don't know if I was where I was standing, but I could see when you entered, there was like 4 of them that just like took when your body went in, it created like a draft of air, and they all just kind of rode that in. And there were at least 4 or 5 when I was in there. One was like, antagonizing me in the bathroom for a while. But yeah, you took care of it, and there's ways around it. And, I'd take mosquitoes over human feces on the sidewalk any day. So,
well, here's the thing. I agree. Although the longer I stay there, especially when it rains, you would start to see like those real big cockroaches, like those real big ones that fly. In New York, we call them water bugs, but that's not what people call them everywhere, right?
June bugs?
No, like cockroaches that are like this big and they fly.
And they're not beetles, huh?
No, not at all. Okay. They're straight up cockroaches. And in New York, we call them water bugs, but they are, and you see that like, you'll feel something hit your leg and then you look down and there's just one there. And I saw quite a few while I was in Austin, maybe like, 2 a week. And when you see them, you're like, damn that. And it was always outside. Like if I'm taking a shower and all of a sudden one of those guys are in my it's not going to be a good look. Like, right. I'm going to be a mess. But my least favorite thing, I hear the weather's rough. I obviously hate anywhere where you have to like drive 30 minutes to get somewhere. That's not my style. But the fucking people were great.
Yeah. As soon as you find a spot that's kind of central and you don't have to be doing all kinds of driving, it'll be good. So yeah, there's actually a few questions about that. And then the rest we'll read on the next pod, but appreciate you guys sending in those questions. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, click that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, click that notification bell. That way, when our videos go live every week, which right now is every Tuesday. Follow me and Jamie on Twitter and Instagram. We also have TikTok. Gabs have been putting up TikToks for us. Don't follow Rob. You can't. He's off the grid. And and you can follow me on G4 TV every week on Attack of the Show every Thursday. So that's it, baby. You have any last words?
No, that's it. You guys are the best. You know the deal.
Especially
if you made it this far, you're one of the.
God bless you.
God.
Thanks for dealing with my COVID brain. Check out Love on the Spectrum. Thanks for enduring my Marvel card presentation. If any of you have more questions about it, I'd of course like to get into it on my very own pod. Okay, let's wrap it up and I'll see you next week. Hopefully it'll be in person. Right?
The comedy stylings of Kasim G in Pajama Pants.